Hi everyone, welcome to Chinese Pod. You're watching an episode of
请问
I'm Fiona.
我是 Constance.
And today's 请问 is all about making recommendations and making suggestions. Sounds easy, right? But often we'll hear a lot of learners make mistakes whilst trying to give suggestions or use the wrong terms.
因为在中文里面有3个不一样的词，都是这样的用法，但是呢，不能直接从英文翻译过来用，要考虑中文的情况，还有意思，还有它在句子里面的功能。
Now there are 3 terms you can make suggestions in Chinese: 推荐、建议 and 意见. Now the problem often comes when a learner will translate directly from their native language and it doesn't suit the situation or the sentence that they're trying to express. But not to worry, in today's 请问 we're going to give you loads of example sentences and by the end you'll be making recommendations and suggestions like a pro.
第一个呢就是推荐。
To recommend. This is a verb in Chinese, guys. Maybe an easy way to distinguish it is because there is the verb 推 to push. So you're pushing over a suggestion to someone or a recommendation.
对，所以呢，这个推荐呢不能当作名词，你只能说我推荐你一本书，我推荐你一个电影，但是不能当作像英文一样变成一个名词，不可以。
So the most important thing with 推荐 is it cannot be used as a noun. It's always a verb. So you're always recommending something,
对
right? Whether it's a book, a restaurant, a dish, anything. You're always recommending something. So because it's a verb, you can't say one recommending, right? You wouldn't do that in English.
对
You would say, oh, I would like to recommend you something.
对，所以第二个重点就是后面一定是一个东西、一件事情，不是叫别人做什么。这个推荐不是我推荐你做一件事，不行。
Okay, so it's not like I recommend you to do something. It's always recommending a thing. So let's have a couple of example sentences.
第一个，我推荐你这家餐厅，东西好吃又干净。
I'd like to recommend this restaurant to you. The stuff's good and it's clean.
那第三个例子呢，就是同学们常常想说，可是说不出来，因为你希望你的中国朋友可以告诉你一些不错的书啊、电影啊，什么地方可以去，那你就可以问他，你能推荐我一些好电影吗？
Can you recommend a couple of good movies? In actual fact, it's can you recommend me a couple of good movies? So in English, we're not used to putting the pronouns there. But if you've noticed in all 3 sentences, it's 推荐你,推荐我, you have to have those, there needs to be someone receiving
对
this recommendation.
对，所以中文的顺序很简单，推荐一个人，一个东西。
Exactly. 我推荐你，你推荐我，
什么东西，对不对？
什么东西？
那比较特别是说，你也可以推荐一个人给别人。比方说，我想要找一个很会说法文的人，我想要找一个法文老师。那 Fiona 可以说哦，我推荐你一个朋友，
一个很好的法文老师。
对对对，就是这样。
好。
第二个就是建议。
Now this can be a little bit tricky because it appears both as a noun and as a verb.
对，你可以说我建议你做什么事，或是呢，这是我的建议，我给你一个建议，都可以。
So it can be to suggest or a suggestion. So let's have a couple of example sentences.
好，第一个，我建议你往前走一点，那儿的风景比较好。
I would suggest you walking a little further. The view is better over there.
那第二个呢是老师建议我考研究所，但是爸爸希望我去找工作。
Yeah, the teacher suggests that I continue to do my master's, but my dad wants me to go get a good job.
那同学们会发现哦，建议跟推荐很不一样的地方是，建议就是叫人家去做一件事情，或是不要做一件事情，后面都是一个动作或是一个行动。
So there's the main difference between 推荐 and 建议 because when you're 推荐 when you're recommending something, it's always 推荐一个东西. Whereas 建议 you're always recommending someone to do something or not to do something.
对，比方说刚刚我们讲的建议你往前走啊，我建议你把门打开啊，就是叫别人做一些事情。
So that it's always followed by an action of some sort.
对， 那么再来一个例子呢，是它当作名词的用法，比方说谢谢你的建议，我会认真考虑。
So here we see it used as a noun, right? Thanks for your suggestion. I'll have a good think about that.
对，所以有的时候你的朋友或是你的老师告诉你说，哦，你可以怎么做，那你觉得他说的不错，你认为很有用，你就可以说谢谢你的建议。
So this is a great sentence to learn. If someone gives you a good recommendation, a good suggestion to do something, you can be like, thanks for that suggestion. I'll really think about it.
没错。
Now, sometimes you want someone to give you some critical feedback, or you want someone to give you some good suggestions. That's not always positive, right? How would we express that in Chinese?
所以就是我们的第三个意见。那个意见跟建议声音听起来是反的，但是是完全不一样的字，完全不一样。
So these two terms are totally different, guys. Just because they sound kind of similar, they're different. So 建议 to suggest or suggestion. 意见 is often translated as opinion, but it can be also used as a suggestion.
所以呢，如果你听到意见，它一定是当作名词一个好意见啊，这是我的意见啊，你有什么意见？所以它都是当作名词。
This is always used as a noun, right? This is my opinion. I'd like to give you my opinion.
没错。那我们看第一个例子这个问题讨论到这里，大家有什么意见？
So we've discussed this problem up to here. Does anyone have any opinions? Does anyone have any suggestions?
对，所以如果你要听听别人的看法，你可以说有没有什么意见，有没有什么建议都可以。
So if you want someone's opinion or you want someone to give you some feedback, you can use both 意见 and 建议, right? 大家有什么意见？大家有什么建议？
对，那么再来一个例子呢？他意见很多，很烦。
Oh, he's got so many opinions. It's so annoying.
这时候我们不会说他建议很多不行，因为其实建议比较中性，比较没有正面、负面，或者是特别的主观的感觉。可是呢，意见常常就是这个人他就是有一个不一样的，可能反对的或批评的看法，那别人就会觉得这是一个意见。
So 建议 is a very neutral term, whereas 意见 often implies there's some kind of negative suggestion, or this person is always kind of trying to go against the opinion of most people.
他不一定是态度很差，但是通常就是不一样，然后是他自己。所以我们常常会听到别人说，这是我个人的意见。
So this is my personal opinion. So it's not necessarily that you have a bad attitude, but when it's more subjective and you feel like maybe it's going to be different from everyone else's, you can use, well, this is my opinion.
对
This is 我的
意见。对，
这是我个人的意见。
没错。那么再来呢，还有一个用法是同学们比较常说错的。比方说你请人家做一件事情，他不太想做，你可能会说他有什么意见，去找那个人，不要找我，我不负责这件事。
Well, if he has any opinions on this, go find him. Don't talk to me, right? 他有什么意见，或者你有什么意见，去找他，不要找我。
对，这个同学们常常会说他有什么问题，但是这里我们不会说他有问题，我们会说他有意见，就是他不满意、不高兴，所以要说出一个什么看法，那不要来找我。
In English, you would say, yeah. Do you have a problem with me? Do you have a problem? But this is not expressed in the same way in Chinese. Actually, if you'd like to find out more about how to say, do you have a problem with me? Or actually how to use the Chinese term 问题, our next Qingwen episode deals with this.
那么所以同学们就注意这个意见的用法它常常带着不满意、反对或是不一样的看法，这个时候你就要用意见。
Yeah, so there's a tricky thing because 意见 and 建议 sound so similar. We'll often hear learners use them in the wrong situations. But if you just remember, 意见 is often implying some kind of negative suggestion. Hopefully, you'll try and think about it before you use it. And just remember, 建议 is a noun and a verb, very neutral for giving suggestions.
对，所以最后就要跟同学们讲了，因为意见有这样的不满意的意思，所以如果你对一个人不满意，你不高兴，你不喜欢他做事情的方法，你可以说我对他很有意见。
Yeah.
有意见变成一个表示我不满意、不高兴的形容词。
So if you see these three characters put together, it means you have a problem with something, right? Or you have a problem with someone.
对，所以比方说我对不准时的人有意见。
I always have a problem with people that are tardy.
就是这样子，
有意见。
没错。
All right, Constance, let's have one sentence that wraps up all of these 3 terms that we've learned today.
所以我们可以听听看，把它放在一起到底有什么不一样。这个句子呢，就是这个网站有很多问题，我对他们很有意见，因为他们推荐我的东西我都不喜欢，我建议你别注册。
All right, guys, mull on that, have a look at that, and see the different situations in which it's used. All right, guys, we hope you found the explanations for 推荐、建议 and 意见 useful, and we'll see you again next time. 再见。